When President Truman announced that we were going to Korea, most Americans reacted as they did after Pearl Harbor. If we thought about protesting the war, we didn't do it. We were the silent generation. Americans enlisted by the thousands. Women again joined men in war plants to make up a third of the workforce. And some World War II veterans couldn't wait to see action again.
Gentlemen, do we, reserve officers of the armed forces and our countrymen, support our Commander-in-Chief in the dynamic action which he took yesterday?
In the years of the Korean War, America was paranoid about Soviet spies, communists in the government, and nuclear annihilation by the Russians.
The new age of atomic energy presses upon us. Mark that well. Civilization cannot survive an atomic war. Nothing would be left but a world reduced to rubble. Gone would be man's hopes for decency. Gone would be our hope for the greatest age in the history of mankind. An age which you and I know can harness atomic energy for the welfare of man and not for his destruction.
In the early 50s, home bomb shelters became big business. And a favorite party game was, who would you want with you in your shelter if you only had a week to live? When the Korean War ended, America was in a boom time. Jobs were plentiful as we used or exported everything we made. One of the things we used the most was the automobile. The cars of the 50s were inspired by our new jet fighters. Each year they were longer, lower, wider, more powerful, and less fuel efficient, with bigger, shinier fins. In 1955, gasoline cost 29 cents a gallon, and the average new car sold for $1,800. Early in the decade, Secretary of Defense Charles Wilson said that what was good for General Motors was good for the country. He was probably right. More cars meant more road building contracts, and the explosion of suburbia. Between 1948 and 58, builders sold 13 million new houses, practically all with knotty pine rumpus rooms and two-car garages. There was a sameness about our ranch-style and split-level homes, but we didn't care. Sameness was the code of the decade. Shopping centers became the community centers for married women of the 50s. Suburban housewives seemed very young, and many were. The average marriage age for women dropped to 20 during the decade. Most young women did not want careers. They wanted husbands. So women invested heavily in clothes and cosmetics, and dieted with Metrical, became Clairol blondes, and devoted themselves to helping hubby up the corporate ladder. Some companies set up courses to teach corporate wives what to say, how to act, even what clothes to wear. Businessmen had a dress code, too. Executives wore dark flannel suits, button-down shirts, and sincere neckties. If we were in advertising or the arts, a pink shirt was permissible. It was a sin to be different in the 50s, and certainly not the way to succeed at IBM or the Bank of America. Advertising reached a new low in tastefulness in the 50s and screamed out at us from everywhere. We were manipulated by Madison Avenue and bought luxuries like vinyl flooring, push-button phones, washer-dryers, soft drinks in cans, king-sized mattresses, and electric blankets. Between 1948 and 1955, our family income almost doubled to $5,600 a year. Installment buying became popular. We couldn't wait to spend the money we had and didn't have for the prepackaged good life. Families began to eat out more during the 50s. Most post-war houses were built without separate dining rooms. Parents began to feed their kids at the new fast food restaurants, or just drop them off someplace with a fistful of nickels and dimes. When we did stay home, we ate more and more artificially preserved junk food, which we boiled, toasted, popped in the oven, deep-fried, or squirted out of cans. Teenagers of the 50s were mobile like their parents, and also had community centers. They hung around drive-in restaurants and drive-in theaters, any place with a parking lot. For suburban kids, school was still the social epicenter. During the 50s, almost every teenager belonged to some school-related something, and to someone. Grass was something we played on. A head was a captain, as in head cheerleader or head majorette. And in the parlance of the period, a pusher was anyone who shot from outside the foul line. That's the way we played it during the 50s.